Okay, so I want to welcome you all to today's lecture, and also I want to thank you all for sending in your assignments. It was really, really good what you guys did, and I went through some of them, and I can see some progressive results. And I noticed some of you might have had issues concerning the. Some of you might have had issues concerning some technical things or just some minor things in Photoshop that you guys had issues with. Please, okay, for the sake of this corrections, I want you guys to unmute your mics so that we can just have a conversation, please. Okay, let me go forward with this. Some of you had issues like this, issues about placing in pictures from one part to another. Okay, maybe you open your Photoshop and it's having a floating window like this, and you're not being able to place it among these other tabs here. So in a situation where you have something like this, all you have to do is simply click on the top part of this Windows tab here and just simply drag into until you see this blue indication here and drop. It goes back into that part here, goes back inside here. So that's when you have similar issues like that. So I simply just drag it out from the tab and it's out. So you can simply put it back in. Then I noticed something again. I noticed most of you had issues with creating shapes, like the shape you see here. Creating this shape. Remember, when I did this, I used my shape tool, which have this here, my shape tool, having this various option for a rectangle, elliptical tool, or custom shape tool. I use my shape tool in drawing the shape, this white shape, which I needed here. And after doing this white shape here, I used my pen to adjust the shape. So I'm just quickly going to do something like that again so that you guys can see how I did this. Okay, let me just go back to my, so you guys can see how I did this thing again. First thing first, remember I use my shape tool. First selecting my shape tool, I simply drew a shape here. Now I'm glad this came up with the issue about changing colors, selecting colors. Please, if you guys can, or if you guys are following, I would really like to know if you guys are following what I'm doing now, so you guys understand the corrections I'm making, because I'm going to try doing this as simple as possible so that we all can understand. Thank you very much. So I now we have to change colors here. Remember, always move back to your move to using simply by moving to your move to or using the shortcut just as I prefer V to go back to your move to. Now we're going to change this part here and add color to this. Then I go to my layers panel. Quickly remove this here. On my layers panel here, where I have my shape. So let me just increase this so you guys can see layers panel here. Where I have my color. This is my rectangle which I just drew now. So I can quickly just hide this high cap for now so that you guys can see this. That you've seen just this rectangle too now. I simply double tap or double click on this box here, and it pops up your color from your where you can your color picker here. The one my mouse is moving around now, this indicates my color picker. As you can see, it automatically switched to my color picker without me actually switching to my color picker. So I can pick any color I want. Any color. Let's pick this gold and this shadow. Any color I want. Any color from any part which I prefer. Or maybe I don't want to use a color from my picture. I can simply pick any color from here. on this color selection area here. Then if I can't find the color here, I simply move the slider. I can't find the color I'm looking for. Remember, I told you guys, every color have what to call a color code. And the color code is unique with the hashtag and simple 6 letters or numbers in combination form your color code. So if I select, let me say I select this purple now, you see the color code here change. I select this yellow, you see the color code change, meaning this is the color code for this color of yellow. Now let me take it to this edge here. You see the color code changes also. Now I want to use my white. You can simply go online sometimes. You can just type on Google, what is the color code for blue? What is the color code for white? These are simple ways you can understand the use of color codes for now. Over time, by the time you keep on checking what's the color code for this and keep on knowing various color codes, on your own, you will be able to understand the various color codes that there are and simply write it without going to check online. But the simple ones which we you can know for now is white and black. These are very two simple colors. And the color code for white by simply coming to this box here and clicking this, the color code for white is F in 6 places, which goes F, 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 F in 6 places. That's wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that gives you pure white. Now you have white. Or if it's black, it's just 0 in 6 places. That gives you the black. So now remember we use white for this. I'm just gonna go F, 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 F in 6 places, and now I have my white. When you are done, okay, that dialog box came because the F was more than 6. So when you are done, number 6. Okay, when you're done, you okay, and there you go, you change the color. So whenever you want to, okay, let's say we want to go back now and make color change to this, you simply go back to this box again and double tap, and it brings up the color picker here. Now we're done with that. So let's turn on our text and see how this looks. It looks pretty good. Then I'm going to go over something again and retouching how you bring pictures into, but let me just finish in this first. Now let's make the shape to this thing, because I noticed some of the assignments you guys had issues in making any modification of shape to this. Now, remember I told you there are various ways you can do things in Photoshop. So let's use one of the previous method which I use, and I will show you guys another method you can do to do this. Simply use the pen tool, which I did here. Yours might be on the default pen tool. You can right click and go to the curvature pen tool. I prefer this because it makes things easier. It's most work of the normal pen tool and the curvature pen tool also. So on the margin, you see when I click on this, it creates an anchor on the margin. There is an anchor on it. So on any point of the margin, when I go in, there's no anchor, but on the margin of that shape, you see an anchor. I simply select. And when I select, I drag. You see, it creates another shape. You can use it to make any modification you want on that, and as you say, adjusting that margin. So if you guys are following, I would like to know you guys are following. Then now you see it's curved. No matter what I do, it remains curved because I'm using the curvature pen tool. So on that same margin, you can just double click on that same margin and it gives you a point, a straight point, no longer a curved point. So I have it there as my point. Still on that same pen tool, I can go to another point in the shape, and now you see it creates an anchor on that same point and probably click on another point. Now you have a new point here and the previous point here. I can simply adjust this point to what I want. You see, it's giving me a curvature, a curve because it's on the curvature pencil as default. Now, remember what you do? Double click on that point and it becomes a shape here. Now you see how it's pretty easy to make those shapes. Now, these previously existing points, you can also move them to. You can move any point or create any point using your pen tool on a shape. So now we can move this now. Let's move this as we in our reverse lecture. Let's create a new point here and do this. So that's something simple. Now return back to your move tool with V, or simply come here and click on this. Now you have a new shape here. So let's turn on our text and see how it goes. And now this is what I was telling you guys about. Easy. I hope you guys can understand. Like you guys understand how this is done now. Okay, Mr. Kabi, you say you have a question. Please, can you ask your question? So we just go through this before we we start the class for today. Okay. Okay, you are using an older version of Photoshop. Okay, the curvature button is not there. Okay, now for the sake of you having such version that you don't have the curvature button, you can use your pen to do that. Now let's let me use my pen to make this modification now. Oh, I hope you have the pen tool there, and that's your version of Photoshop, Mr. Kavi. Okay, nice. Now, let me use the pen to make this modification. I can simply undo what I just did using Ctrl Z to undo. Or when you come to the uh, file menu here, you can see the undo move here, Ctrl Z. So I'm just going to use my Ctrl Z and undo all I just did now. So you see, the more I press my Ctrl Z, the more it undo every step which I took. Okay. Okay. That's okay. So now let's let's use this. Now let me select the pen tool here. Remember, you click on delete that support. Click on the point here, and I'm sure when you dragged, it gave you something like this. All right, something like this, which are you having challenges with. Okay, each of these points here, when you select your pen tool, you see it has 2 points, one point here and another here. So these are the points that you can use to create those curves that the curvature painting has. The curvature painting was actually made just to make things easier in using Photoshop than using this paint tool. So now, when you, for instance, now you drag this, you can simply just let's adjust this. We'll do that quickly. Now you have to be precise in picking a point from each point that you selected. Now you see that you are having difficulty trying to restructure this shape, which I have here using the curvature paint tool. I'm using the normal paint tool. So it's advisable when you have such conditions. Now that you have that, just draw the shape directly from from the original source. You understand? Directly like this. I click on one point here, and I click on another point. Click on one other point here. Click on another point. This one gives you more freedom to do what you want to do. Maybe you make a mistake, you can simply Ctrl Z and change their direction which you want. Click on another point and can simply just click on various points here till we have a closure here. And now we'll move to our normal moving. You'll move to you have such. Sorry, this is wrong, but it's another way using your paint when you don't have your curvature paint. You can create those edges. I hope you understand it, Mr. Kabi. Okay. So that's another way which you can create that using your paint suite that you have. So you can simply, as I said earlier, change the colors by just quickly change the colors, and you have something similar to what you had here earlier. So you have your the only advantage your curvature paint gives you is the fact that you can change the point of every shape without having to go through that stress of reviewing the shape again. So you can change that point. Don't use our curvature paint to here. You can change that point here, and it gives you more freedom. So that's why they had to make such updates in the new version of Photoshop to make things easier for designers. So there you go. Then now another issue about placing pictures. I know some of you had that issue about placing pictures here in the Photoshop. I'm just going to go through that again. Okay, Mr. Kabi, please, that would be nice if you can get the 2020 version. I sent the link on the group chat. You can check the link for the 64-bit version and the 32-bit version. Thank you. Okay. So now the placing of pictures, I told you, can be done in various ways. You can simply use File and Open or place embedded. When you use Open, it goes straight to this new tab here. When you have a separate tab that you have to okay, let's just do that. File, Open. We select our picture, Open. Just wait for Photoshop to open the picture in the new tab, and there you go. This is your picture opened in a new tab. Please, I want you guys to follow this. Thank you. This is a picture open in a new tab. Remember, your move to selected. You can't move this image because it's locked in the background. Here, it's locked. So when I try moving now, you see it gives me a dialog box saying this layer is currently locked and this is the background. And the only way to move this picture here is to convert this layer to a normal layer. Converting it to a normal layer, you click on the option here to convert it to a normal layer. You see it becomes unlocked. So now you can move it. If you don't do that, you can simply come here using this. Look at this big padlock icon here. Just click on it and it unlocks your image to a normal layer. So I can now I'm able to move with my move tool. So remember the principle I said about holding, dragging to where you want to place your image. When you're in this tab, do not release your mouse. Come in here first. See, if you look at your mouse pointer, you see it has a plus icon on it. In the Canva, release, then you drop your image here in the Canva. And remember, I said to resize the image to what we want. Simply zoom out a bit, edit, transform, free transform. Control T is the shortcut. So free transform, and let's zoom out to see the margins. There you have the margins of your image. You click on just one side. If you're using the new version of Photoshop 2020, you don't need to click on the shift icon. It resizes your image without distorting or warping the image. But if you are using an older version of Photoshop, you have to hold down your shift key, then resize your image. But now you see, because I'm using a new version of Photoshop, if I hold down my shift key, it does the opposite as the previous version. This was done to make things easier again with Photoshop. Then you simply resize till you get your desired size. Then you press the enter key or this good icon here. Okay, then let's zoom in. inside. You can zoom in here to get your actual size of the card, or simply when you are zoomed out, you can just press Ctrl 0 on your keyboard and it gives you an equal proportion size of that canvas. Let's just zoom out a bit and see how it is. So now we have our picture. So I hope you guys understand how you can place the pictures now. Please just indicate in the chat box, and in case there is any other correction, you can just let me know before we start the class so that we can proceed with that. If there is any other thing you can't do with your designs, you can just let me know. Okay, then I'm going to project some of the assignments that was given you guys did. I checked on some of the assignments and I discovered that, okay, Mr. Usazeme, Mr. Tosin, and Mr. Kabi. Mr. Kabi, you did a good work. I actually liked your design. I knew you just had an issue with the curvature pen too, which you say you had a pen to so understand. Then for Mr. Tosin, he did a nice design too. And remember I said something about when I taught you about the principles of design and using the design elements, and I taught you about fonts. If you notice from the example I gave in class, I used a larger size of font for the top part of the text that was given there, so as for you to understand the the message, for your audience to see the message which you're trying to pass across. As you can see, higher a cap, it's much more bold and much more visible too, because indicating the actual point which I want my audience to understand in my design. So you guys, if I'm not talking to just Mr. Tosin, I'm talking to everybody. You guys should understand the use of fonts. I said do not use more than one font in your design, more than two fonts in your design, as this doesn't make your design look good. Because I noticed that with Mr. Osazeme, I noticed that with your design, and you were using more than one font in your design, and there were some things about the design which we have not gotten to you made in your design. So I want you to understand. Because I would like you to recreate this something like this for me, because I'm not too sure. I didn't authorize using this pattern of design for the class, because I asked you to design something, but you went a bit further. So I don't know if this has been pre-designed before. So I would like to give an assignment again. So I guess this should be your first assignment for today. And assignment again on working with these principles and designing another card. I think you might fit as work, but it's going to help you perfect the design and simply apply your elements of design to the design. Be part of arranging your text or your font in a symmetrical manner, maybe using the center layout. I use the center layout because of how short my text was. When you have longer text, like for instance, a longer text, maybe a professional text, you should try to probably keep a layout on just one side of the image and try to maintain a straight line when making your design. We can simply make use of the ruler, for instance. A ruler doesn't show on Photoshop sometimes when you open your Photoshop for the first time, but you can actually get that using control arrow. Rulers are these margins here, placed around the side of your designs here. Those are your rulers. Please, Mr. Tosin, I'd like you to mute your mic, please. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. So the rulers here, you guys can see my screen, right? Please indicate so. The rulers here at the side, you can simply click on either the vertical ruler or the horizontal ruler to make your design. It helps to keep a perfect symmetry when making your design. Say for instance, now I pick this ruler here, the horizontal ruler, a vertical ruler. I can place it on any part of my canvas, and I can also move it even after it's being placed. Now let's just make a quick illustration here. I want to make this symmetrical to just okay. This is my sorry about that. That was a JPEG. If not, it had just one layer. I brought the JPEG here, so that's why I can make any changes to that. So now let's quickly do this one more time. Let's just quickly do something simple. Changing the colors, F in 6 places. Now come back to your move tool. Now we have this. So let's pick our rulers here. That's our ruler. So let's make this symmetrical, like one, align it to just one side of your text using this part here because it was just at the middle using the middle alignment. So I'm going to use the left alignment for our text now. So we simply move it as okay, okay. With the move to being selected, you move this to align with your ruler. You see, it creates a perfect line with my ruler. Then I can simply move my text and align with the ruler also. So let's drag this and drag it to the right or to the left. It returns your ruler back if you don't need it anymore. It makes your design more organized and much more neater when your designs are aligned, especially when you have lots of text in your designs. So I noticed that with some of your designs. Try to align your designs to make it look perfect, make your design come out more pleasant. So that's one thing I noticed in your assignments. So overall, you guys did a very good job. I must commend you guys. You guys did a very good job in your assignment. That's really, really good job. So kudos to you all. So we're going to start today's lecture. In just a minute, please. Okay. So we are back here. So I want you guys to indicate if you guys can hear me. Can you guys see the slides? Please, if you are seeing my slides, you can indicate. Okay, thank you. So now let's remember. Okay, I'm glad we had that correction out of the way, so we can start today's lecture. So welcome to Module 3 of your Professional Diploma Intermediate Beginner class in Graphic Design. And as you know, my name is Emoshile Manuel, so I'll be your tutor for today. In Module 3, we're going to talk a little bit of history about Photoshop. You know, I love history a lot. So, as I said, history helps you to understand where you're coming from and where you're going to. So, what you're seeing now on the screen is the very first interface of Photoshop. The very first interface of Photoshop when Photoshop was created. I see, if you're looking at it, you see it had just about 4 names: Thomas Null, John Null, Steve Gottman, and Russell Brown. These were the first developers of Photoshop. And compared to now, you have lots of names that open page when you open Photoshop now. There are hundreds of developers to tell you how Photoshop has gone a long way. And Photoshop was actually developed for Macintosh, your Macintosh PC at first, and your Apple PCs. But over time, it was moved into the Windows operating system. So it was mainly for Mac users at first, and later it was moved to the operating system. So I'm going to try to make this class as interactive as possible because from now on, we've gotten we are now acquainted to each other, and we should understand how the things go. So you can simply use the chat box as we did earlier. Thank you. So to familiarize yourself with this, so I'm going to ask you guys a question: is Photoshop cheating? Because when you look at the things you can actually do with Photoshop, it's very, very, very much amazing. You ask yourself, using Photoshop, is it cheating? Because the concept of Photoshop is about photo manipulation, and this has been the argument out there by so many designers that said that Photoshop is cheating, and we we make Photoshop to make create unreal things that are not there. So you can simply write down your answer to let me know if Photoshop is cheating. Just let me know what you think in the chat box. Looking at this image, you see a lady suspended and some of all these things suspended in the air. You can A photographer can actually create this by using maybe lines or ropes to suspend these things and probably taking a picture of this. But thank you, Mr. Kabi. Photoshop makes your work easier. Imagine the stress is going to you have to go through trying to create a picture like this, suspending a lady from the air and everything just to have this picture. And don't forget, when you finish taking this picture, you still have to do some Photoshop work to clean off those lines you'll be using to suspend this image. But Photoshop can actually do this for you. Looking at this image, these various objects here you are seeing, they're gotten from different parts of different pictures, even the lady from another picture, and we brought them together. As a graphic designer, you can do this. You bring them together to create something is that you can only imagine. So that's the beauty of Photoshop. So I'm glad we had this. So now we're going to bring it to the topic we have today, which is adjustments. Remember last week I told you guys I'm going to talk about adjustments, color adjustments, and tonal adjustments with Photoshop. This is very important because in your pictures and your most of your designs, especially when you're working with pictures, you can make little adjustments using Adobe Photoshop. These adjustments are important. Like as you can see from the illustration here, you see by your left, you have a picture taken, but it having a dark scenery, and another taken having a brighter scenery. If you're used to photography, you can know that the HDR and all was having some issues here in the picture by your left, just because the camera couldn't get much details as possible. But with Photoshop, you can bring out these details out by using minor adjustments with Photoshop. As you go along, you will see it's pretty fun doing this with Photoshop. So your adjustments, we have the tonal adjustments. As adjusting your photos helps you to gain control. It gives you more dominance over your photograph. If you look at this picture here now of the city skyline, and after you make some adjustments, some tonal adjustments and some color adjustments, you can come up with something like this. And then you guys might say, oh, it's just brightness and all, but a lot of work actually went into creating this image from looking like this to looking like this. So at the end of this lesson, why when we explain about tonal adjustment and color adjustment, you'll be able to understand how each of these play a vital role in your design. So before we go into this adjustment, I would like you two guys to understand something about pixels because remember I told you Photoshop, it's a raster-based design software. Unlike Illustrator, that is a vector-based design software. So pixels are important. We have to talk about pixels here because each tonal adjustment or color adjustment you make are affected. The effects are brought in play by these pixels. Pixels A pixel, it's like asking yourself what is pixel is like the building block of our image or the photograph. Each image or photograph you see are made up of pixels. You ask, okay, when you see now, you see most times we talk about phones. You hear 10 megapixel, 20 megapixels, 50 megapixels. Why do they call those megapixels? Because a combination of pixels helps you to create your image. That's why I said a pixel is the building block of an image. And a single block is called a pixel. Just a single block of that image is a pixel. Sometimes millions of pixels come together to create a perfect picture. And the more the pixel, the better the picture quality. That's why you have a phone having 100 megapixel and another phone having 10 megapixel cannot snap the same um, kind of picture on a normal basis. But these days, most um, phone companies use software to enhance their pictures when they are being snapped. A pixel is a perfect square. This perfect square, also referred to as square dot, when you this square dot now is a pixel, but because it's a dot doesn't mean it's round. It's actually a perfect square in your photo, and thousands of this square helps to make your design, your picture. Combination of various pixels you can see from this slide here. We have the tonal adjustment and the color adjustment. When we talk about tone, tone is more of from gray to black or to white. Like tone is more having various combination of okay, just like a shade. You have various shades of gray and various shade of white or various shade of black. That's when it has like a tone. Looking at these three pixels here, you see there is a tonal adjustment within this pixel. But when you talk about color, color is just one single effect on the pixel at a particular time. As a pixel is ever just one color, just one color. A pixel cannot be multiple colors at a particular time. It's usually just one color, but it can have various tones. When you talk about pixel, looking at this image now, what do you think this is? I don't maybe if you are viewing this through your phone, you might not be able to see each pixels that makes up this image, but or maybe if you are using your PC, you can look at this very well and you see there are various tiny blocks that makes up this one single square. Just one single square here. There are various tiny blocks that makes it. And these tiny blocks are the pixels. So if you look at this now, what do you think this is? You can indicate in the chat box, please. What do you think is it? What image do you think I zoomed into to form this, for me to see this pixel? Zooming out, you will see that image was gotten from this, a wave. That single block I zoomed into now, showing the pixels, is this part indicated here. Combination of those pixels now makes up this full image which you are seeing. Looking at the image, you can see the pixels obviously, but each of those pixels coming together help to create this image. Maybe when we go into Photoshop, I can actually show you how you guys can see each and every one of these pixels. So a combination of this pixel helps you to resolve your image to the eyes. So you're able to see what you want. We're looking at adjustments. Adjustments are used to enhance your image. Tonal adjustments, as I told you, from black to white. Adjustments can be applied destructively or non-destructively. When you say adjustment is applied destructively, uh, since you save your image in JPEGs or PNG and other formats, when you save them in JPEG format, for instance, after your design, you reduce the resolution of your image. Remember, you flatten that image. So the resolution of that image is being reduced. That is an example of destructive adjustment because every adjustment you make to that image, you can't re-edit them after saving your image. But that's why when we save our image in PSD format, sometimes when we are working, we save in PSD format so that we can go back to make some adjustments to that image. So that's an example of non-destructive adjustment. Adjusting your image helps you to get full control of your image. You are able to make any color manipulation or any tonal manipulation that you want. When we look at this image now, which of them do you think is Photoshop? A, B, C, or D? So I'd like you guys to indicate here and tell me which of these image is Photoshop. Please, we can use the chat box for this. Oh, okay. Mr. Tosin, you said A. Any other opinion? Which of these image here are Photoshop? Okay. But I'll tell you that all of these image here are actually Photoshop. All of them are Photoshop. When you look at A, there have been some tonal adjustments to the picture. Maybe if you look at the skin, how clean and how clear the skin is. That has obviously been Photoshop. Because looking at this image, you might actually feel C. Image C has not been photoshopped, but it actually has been photoshopped. For the A, the tonal adjustment have been made. Then for the B, there have been some matte adjustment here. If it has a matte effect, some filter has been applied, the exposure has been worked on. All of these have been done using Photoshop tonal adjustment or color adjustments. Then for the C, the saturation obviously has been increased here because looking at the green grass and the fox, though the photographer did a very pretty decent job, but it has been enhanced. The colors have been enhanced using Photoshop. Then for D, obviously, it's very, very, very much photoshopped because correct, all of them have actually been photoshopped. But that it's not achievable without the help of Photoshop. So we're going to talk about tonal adjustments now. Before we move on to color adjustments. So in the process of talking about this, we are going to go into Photoshop so that you guys will see how each of these tonal adjustments can be applied. In tonal adjustments in Photoshop, there are various tools you can use to adjust the tones of your picture or of your design in Photoshop. But you necessarily don't need to use everything. But you can use your brightness, your level, curve, vibrance, hue, saturation, and all of these listed here. They can be used in adjustments in Photoshop. But we're mainly going to be using the brightness and contrast, the level, and the curves for your tonal adjustments. Then for your color adjustments, it's going to be mainly the vibrance and the hue and saturation. So when we go into Photoshop, you'll see how these are going to be used. You can familiarize yourself with this. For the tonal adjustment, you make use of the brightness and contrast here, as you can see, the levels here, and the curves. When we get into Photoshop, you will see each and every one of these tabs here. For the brightness and contrast, you can pause these later and probably familiarize yourself with this maybe when you're watching the recording. The brightness and contrast, the brightness here is used to increase the amount of light that goes into your image. Reducing it will reduce the amount of light in your image, and increasing it will increase the amount of light in your image. Your contrast helps you to separate your whites from your black tone in an image. You have your levels. You have various presets in your level, the histogram, the output, and probably an auto. You have the auto adjustment that you can automatically adjust the image for you, the droppers, the preview, and all various things. You can familiarize yourself with this. But the most important part of using the levels is the histogram. The histogram is used to adjust your overall levels in an image. It measures the tonal volume from dark to light of an image, and the height of the histogram relates to the volume of tone in that image. This part of your histogram here by the left indicates the amount of black in an image. The middle part is the amount of gray in an image, and the right part here is the amount of white in an image. When you look at this, you see it's like a graph here. There is no perfect histogram when it comes to level adjustment, but the amount, the heights of each um, histogram layers here indicates the amount of colors that are present. So looking at this histogram, for example, you see the blacks are not so much. You have more of the gray and just a little bit black climbing up here. So we understand this more when you go into Photoshop. As I said, Photoshop is more practical for you to understand. Then you have your curves. The curve works with individual tone in an image. Individual tone, yeah, you can change individual colors when it comes to using curves. Curves is much more complex, but you can make individual changes when you use the curves in an image. You can familiarize yourself with this when you are watching the recording. Now let's get into Photoshop so that you guys can see how each of these things are being used. Just a minute, let me get into Photoshop. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Please indicate if you can see the screen. And I hope you guys are following. Okay, thank you. Now, we're just going to make some adjustments. Let me quickly delete this. Please, the mics. Thank you. Okay. Remember I talked about the usage of the curves and the levels in Photoshop. For you to see this in your Photoshop, maybe you might not find where these options are. You can simply go to your Windows and Workspace. Remember, we are using the graphic and web workspace here. When you have this selected, simply go down, stay in your Windows drawer and check for adjustments here. Toggle it on and you have your adjustment panel here. You can simply just hide this and let's drag. You hide it using this part, these little arrows here to expand and contrast. Holding the tab, we can simply drag. Let's rearrange this. Let's put it here. Okay, I guess this is okay. Yeah. If you can't find this here or you don't want this, you can simply go to, after your image is open, you can simply go to edit. No, okay, yes, you go to image and you find your adjustment here, where you have all the adjustments you can make to your photo. Or if you can find that here, you can also find it here in this tab here, where it's create a new adjustment layer. You have your FX, your max layer, and your new adjustment layer. We're going to talk about every one of these, and you will learn how these are actually being used. Max would be my favorite. Now you can find this similar things here. You find them similar here. So there are three places which you can get it now. First of all, Windows adjustments. Toggle it on, and it brings on your adjustment tab, which you can drag and place here for easy viewing. Then another place you can get that is under image, your image menu here, adjustments, and you find that similar thing here, or you can use this part here, your adjustment icon here, and get something similar here. I hope you guys got that. Okay, so we are moving on. Now let's make our first the first part, the first one we talked about, which is your brightness and contrast. Let's simply use this part here. On your adjustment, you can, when you click on the brightness and contrast um, icon here, it creates a new layer for you here. And this new layer is your brightness and contrast layer. And whatever you do, since the layer is above, remember I told you the principle of layer being like a burger. Since the layer is above, whatever adjustment I make is on that particular layer, and it affects the layer beneath that layer, because these are tonal adjustments. Tonal adjustment works this way. So I simply double click on my layer here and it pops up my adjustment bar. Let me just resize this, add this here. That will have enough space here. Simply add this here and rearrange. Remember, you can always rearrange your interface in Photoshop. So you can have enough space so you guys can see the layer properly. So now, remember I told you brightness is the amount of, well, I like us to work with this picture because you will see how each of these changes will make will really work using this picture, because there are lots of tonal changes you can make with this picture. So when we adjust our brightness bar, let's reduce the brightness. You see it reduces the brightness of that picture, removing the high amount of light present. In that picture. Okay. You say you didn't get that, Mr. Kabi. Okay. Let me take that again. Please, can you indicate which parts you didn't get, Mr. Kabi? Remember, for me to get my adjustment tab, okay, let me just do this again so that you guys can understand what I meant by this. Adjustment tab. This was my initial tab. I come to my Windows panel here and I click on adjustments. Now, I have my adjustment tab, floating tab here. I can simply arrange my workspace by placing it into this part here, and I have my adjustment tab here. I can get it from this part here, or I simply go into image and adjustments, where I can adjust all my tonal and color changes here, or I simply go into this last icon here, which is your adjustment icon underneath your layer panel, and click on it, and I have all my adjustment here. For the sake of this lecture now, I'm going to be using this panel here, which makes things easier and more accessible. I have my first icon here, which is the brightness and contrast. Selecting this, it opens my property icon here. When we go back to my layers, I find that you see it's above the picture layer here. So whatever adjustment I make with this affects my layer underneath, because this is a tonal adjustment. It also implies for color adjustments. Double tap to bring up the properties. See, it brought out the properties. So when I increase or I reduce my brightness now, it affects the picture. Increasing the brightness increases the amount of light present in my picture, and reducing the brightness reduces the amount of light present in my picture. So with this brightness being reduced, you actually feel it gives it this more of an evening setting. You see, you just made a manipulation to this image now. It gives it more of an evening setting than the original um, image you see here. When you reduce this, it gives us more of an evening setting. So I guess this should be about okay. Let's make that adjustment. Contrast, as I told you, separates your black from your white tone in an image. So reducing the contrast, now you might not see any difference because you are separating the, but increasing the contrast increases the amount of black present in your image, and adding black to your image pops up the colors and makes them more darker. Reducing the contrast adds more white to your image. Increasing the contrast add more dark color, more black to your image. Sorry, more black. Sorry. So now I guess that should be okay. I hope you guys are following. You guys understand. Okay, let's proceed. Then now the next one we're going to add for our tonal adjustment is the levels. When you add your levels, you can check the layer and see. There you have your level adjustment layer here. So I simply double tap here on my level, not on this part here. Okay, this white part you see now is the layer mask. A layer mask, it helps you to create something. It's more of creating, how will I put this now? A layer mask, you can create adjustments on a layer mask without it being visible on your image. Like when I make this adjustment, you see all the adjustments we are making are usually on the layer mask, not directly on this image. So if I simply toggle this off now, and I toggle this off, you see the original image, the way it looks. If there was no adjustment on the original image, just in case you need to make any changes to that image. So that's the effects, the work of the layer mask. So toggling this on now, which is the eye, you can use to make it visible or hidden. You see the effects which we made with the brightness and contrast on the image. Now you double tap on this to bring up your histogram. Remember I told you the histogram gives you overall control over your tonal adjustments. Here you have your presets. There are some presets that are present within Photoshop already to help you make tonal adjustment, like darker. It makes your image darker if you want. Increase the contrast. These are all various presets. Lighting, shadows. There are various presets that have been installed using photo installed in Photoshop developed with it. Now, remember I told you that there is no perfect histogram to an image. Now, when you look at this image, now you find that there are less blacks in this image, a little bit of gray, and much more less whites present in this image. So when I move my histogram slider of the black now, you see I'm increasing the amount of black in the image. You can see the changes. You can make some insanely good adjustment using just your tonal contrast to make some design. Now, looking at it, it's almost like nighttime. This you can probably tell somebody this picture was taken by 8 p.m. at night with the white light on. So these are what your tonal adjustments can do. Dragging the slider from left to right increases the amount of dark black in the image, and this increases the amount of gray in the image, increasing the amount of gray present in your image. And you have the white slider here, increasing the amount of white present in your image. So you see, this almost look exactly like the original image we had, which is to tell you that there are more whites present in that image. So these are just the things you can do using your histogram. These are very, very important. Another thing again, remember I told you about the auto selection, which can auto correct it for you. Selecting the auto here, it automatically adjusts the image to the best possible um, thing which your Photoshop can adjust it to. But you can actually it now goes into custom, but let's return back to default. You can make changes to various specific colors in an image. Maybe your red, your green, and your blue. Let's make changes to the red now in this image. Increasing the level of red, increasing this part removes the amount of red that is present in your image. You will notice this by looking at the scar. Increasing this slide now. You can see the red gradually fades out from that image. Now you see the difference. Gradually fades. Same, but when you make this adjustment, increasing this increases the amount of red in an image because you're just on red alone to increase the tonal contrast of just red. Same thing, you can increase tonal contrast of green or reducing the green in an image, increasing or reducing the green in an image. So all of these things are the way you see photographs are being created. They're mainly used in adjustments of photographs. You need to know this because sometimes when you have your photograph for your design, you have to work on those photographs a bit so as just to get that perfect design. You see, sometimes you see some image of maybe a person standing in a white place and you know of that image, but when you see that image in a design, you suddenly see it has maybe like a spotlight or something just on top of that person. These are various things, tools you can use to make those adjustments in Photoshop. So the next one we're going to add now is the curves. Going here and selecting the curve under your adjustment tab. Pardon. Now you see as I told you, your curve can be used to make specific tonal adjustments. You can use it to work to adjust specific tones in an image. Just like your levels, you have some auto correction here, your red, green, blue, which can make some specific color change, and you also have some presets Here, I cross negative some nice preset that you are as insanely good. You won't believe you can actually do this. And for every preset here, you have this this graph-like line here changing for every adjustment you make to your image. And okay, let's use the negative now, which everything becomes opposite of each other. You see, it's completely opposite direction to create the negative. So curves takes a little bit getting used to when making your design. But if you are able to master the use of curve, you can achieve almost anything you want to do. Now let's just make some little adjustments to this picture. When I place my mouse across this line here, it creates what we call, let's click a point, an anchor. With that anchor, you are able to adjust your image to your desired effect. Okay, let's go for maybe a more sunset night effect here and see how this goes. We also have this slider here. Sliding increases the black in the image, and sliding this removes the light from the image. You can also slide up here. So let's go for a nice, cool evening setting to this image. I guess this looks okay. That looks okay. So let's go back to our layer panel and see the changes which we've made here. Now, when I toggle this on, let's just toggle this on and off. Or you can also do something rather than toggling each and every one of these on and off. You can simply group them together. And you do this, pardon, you do this by simply clicking on the layer here, holding your shift key. Click on the last one to select all of them. Let me do that again. You select, you click on your first one or the last one, anyone, then holding your shift key, go to the last one, which you want. Since I want to group all of them together, so I just go from bottom to down. You select the last one. With each of these highlighted, you right click to bring out your option and group from layers. Let me do that again. You right click and group from layers. And you can probably, let's rename this layer as tonal adjustment. Let's just say tonal adjustment. Okay. And it all goes into just one layer so that when I can simply toggle on and toggle off to see the effect and adjustments which I made using my tonal adjustment layer. When you want to see each and every one of these, you can simply just click on this to bring each and every one of them out. Thank you. Okay. Now, we're looking at this, you can see you actually prefer the previous image to the current image. We went for a more evening night setting in the image. So these are how you can adjust the tone of an image. The tones of an image. I hope you guys are following. Please, you can signify. I hope you guys understand. Remember, we want this class to be interactive as possible. Okay. Thank you. That's how you can adjust the tone of an image. So now we're going to move on to, we can simply just go back to Photoshop here. Let's quickly go back to our slides and make some color so that we can talk about color adjustments. Okay. So now we're going to talk about color adjustment. Color adjustment is pretty much fun. I hope you guys can see my You guys can see my slide. Please indicate if you can see my slides. Okay, thank you. Pardon me, I'll just take in water because it's pretty dry here. Color adjustments are pretty much fun. You can do lots of things with color adjustments in pictures. Sometimes you can see someone wearing maybe a pink dress, and you can actually change that color to a blue dress or whatever color you want. So those are the beautiful things you can do with Photoshop. I know some of you might be like, this adjustments would be you can do with your phone, or you can make this minor adjustments with some other apps, or yeah, you can do them with some other, but Photoshop gives you more freedom to make these adjustments perfect. So just before we go into Photoshop, I want to tell you something. Do you know that it's actually possible to actually colorize a black and white image to a colored image? Like, it's possible to do that. Sometimes you see these old images, maybe in 19 or even in the 1700s, 1600s, then that there was no color. Such image now, which were in black and white, can actually be made colored using Photoshop. But this consumes a lot of time, like a whole lot of time. And it takes lots of dedication to do this, but anything is possible once you put your mind into it. There's Jordan Lloyd is someone who makes works like this. You can probably check him up at on Facebook or YouTube later and see some of his works and see some amazing things and probably learn some things from him on how you can make this possible, because no one will actually think, how can I convert an old black and white picture to color? Because it's actually easy to convert a color picture to black and white, but converting a black and white picture to color, it's really tricky, but that is possible using Photoshop. So for color adjustments, you have two things that you can do when it comes to color adjustment. You have the vibrance, using the vibrance to earn your hue and saturation. For your vibrance, it helps you to increase the density of color. The vibrance helps you to increase the density of weaker colors that are present in an image. Yes, I use weaker colors because sometimes when you see an image, you have um red all through that image, but maybe there's a little bit element of yellow in that image. Increasing your vibrance helps you to increase the weaker color. That's the weaker yellow, that yellow in that image. You can bring it into light with your vibrance too. Then for your saturation controls your overall color intensity. It heightens all colors. It affects all colors that are present in your picture. Increasing the saturation increases the intensity of the color, and reducing your saturation reduces the intensity of the color. So it can make the color seem washed out or black and white, but there is no color there at all. For your hue and saturation, the difference is much more subtle. Hue and saturation is a much more powerful tool to edit colors. Like it's limitless. It's much more powerful to edit colors when it comes to Photoshop. You can use your hue and saturation tool for color manipulation in Photoshop. Hue, from the word hue. Hue is another form of it's another word for color. Hue is more of a pure color. A hue is a pure color. And another way you can actually get hue is using your color picker, which we show you earlier on how you can use your color picker to select a particular color. So whatever your color picker selects, it selects one particular color at a time. It cannot select multiple colors. So it selects a hue, which is more of a pure color at a time. So we're just going to go into Photoshop and we'll see how it works. Now, when you look at this vibrance, you have your vibrance, your saturation layer, and everything here. You can go through these and see and read it during your work. We'll get into Photoshop now and see how hue and saturation works. So let's just quickly go into Photoshop here. Hope you guys are following. Okay. So can you see my Photoshop screen now? Okay. So for your hue and saturation, under the adjustment tab too, you can see your vibrance, your hue and saturation panel here. So let's use the first one, which is the vibrance here. And we're still going to be making these changes to our image here. And we can also make the changes to another image too. Then let's make this thing here. So vibrance, I do think it helps to boost the lower colors, your weaker colors in an image. So increasing your vibrance here, you see the color of the glass of in each of these vehicles were very weak. You can't actually know that there's a glass there. Let's take it back now and see. The green, it seems greenish. It's much more subtle. When I increase the vibrance now, you see it comes to light. I hope you guys can see the difference here. It comes to light. So the thing about vibrance, increasing the weaker colors is possible. So when at the same time, when I reduce the vibrance here, it reduces the color. But it can't create a black and white image because only saturation can do that. So let's pop it up a bit. See to increase the weaker colors. Now this looks really nice. Now let's increase the saturation here. Increasing the saturation, remember I told you saturation increases the overall color intensity. See what the saturation does. Reducing the saturation, it removes the color from the image. So reducing saturation is one of the fastest way of making a black and white image in Photoshop, but it's actually not the best way. But it's one of the fastest way to quickly see how your image will look when it's in black and white. Remember, when making each of these changes, just because we are working on objects here, when it comes to human, we're going to see that in a bit. You have to always make subtle changes. Sometimes when it's perfect, it's okay that way. When it's just subtle is best than making it unrealistic and not true. Let's just increase the saturation by 1% and probably the vibrance, reduce this a bit. Okay, this looks more better. So we can see the effect now by toggling on and off. Okay, you see there are just minor changes because I told you subtle is best when it comes to Photoshop, making all this tonal and color adjustment. So now we're going to go on to hue and saturation. Going back to my layers, you have the hue and saturation layer here. So I can simply double tap as you do to get the properties here, or simply go back to your layers while you are in this part here. Selecting your mask, remember it must always be on your mask. I can simply go to properties. Yes, okay for you, you go to your color selection and properties. Okay, let's simply take this up a bit. Hope you guys are following. You guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, let's go ahead. Now you can Okay, there are various things when it comes to using the hue and saturation icon here. You have your master tool here. It's similar to that of the tonal adjustment and all. You have your master tool, which can be used to pick a particular color when you are working with Photoshop. Okay, so I'm quickly just going to import a file here now so that we can work with that and see how sample, samples here, samples. Okay, let's quickly use this image here. Or let's simply use this here and see the effect here. Hope you guys can see my screen. Okay, sorry about that, Mr. Kabi, with network. Or you can catch up the remaining parts of the recording. Okay, thank you. So now let's make some adjustments to this layer here. Okay, let's simply, okay, since I imported a new layer, we're going to go back. Let's just add our hue and saturation to this, see how it works. Now, we have our hue and saturation. I'm going to go back to the previous image, then we can just, for the sake of color adjustment, I want to show you how you can actually change colors when it comes to an image. So we click on our hue and saturation. So the master picker here is used to select a particular color. Just in case you want to make a particular adjustment, you used to select a particular color. Then you have some presets as usual here. You have the cyanotype presets here. You have the increased saturation and red boost to boost the reds in the image. And you have yellow boost to boost the yellows in the image. You know, so let's go back to our default. Then this is the hue slider, which you see as we slide. It makes some insanely good changes. Some things that are really abnormal here. You slide, you see some changes. Then your saturation is the amount of colors here. Have saturation, black and white. You see the black and white here, the black and white there, which helps to create this. Then your lightness, the amount of light in the image, or the amount of black, white, and black in the image, helps to increase the lightness here. So we can, okay, let's just make some changes here. Let's use our color picker. Okay, you have the master. Because it's on the master, which increases the color picker, the master is affecting all of the colors. I see when I was making these changes here. It's affecting all of the colors present in this image here, where you have the master bar. You can make specific adjustments, just the reds. You will make specific adjustments, just the reds. You can see this bar here. So you can find the range of the reds present in the image. So when I move my tone, it makes adjustments to just where you have touch of reds present in the image. Then same thing with the yellows. You can modify the yellows in reducing it, changing the way you have yellows present in the image. Now you see there is more of increasing this. Okay. Then you can, okay, let's say we change this now, yellow, make this, then you can reduce the saturation of that color or increase the saturation of that color. So that's how that one works. Okay, so we are going to make use of the master tool now rather than specific, so that we can pick specific colors when it comes to this. You select your master tool here, and it automatically becomes a color picker because I want to pick a specific color to change. Let's see this background. This background. It gives you the cyan adjustment. Now, when you move your slider gradually, you move your slider, you see you can actually change the color of that wall. See, you can change the color of that wall. The reason why you're not seeing much changes here is because the color range for your cyan is pretty high. So we can probably reduce this Another thing about changing this color works well with image. You will have just a specific color. Maybe you have a specific target of color to change. You can simply change that particular color. So now let's pick this. Let's just Control Z. Let's undo that which we just did now. Maybe after this, we use another image to have that particular broad range of color. Let's see if we can change the color on our clothes. Oh, okay, there are multiple colors here. Gives you yellow and a little bit of red. There are more reds in the image, so you make lots of adjustments. Okay, now let's just let me import. Okay, let's see if we can work with this, or rather, let me import another image. I think we need an image with more colors and more colors. Open. Let's go. Let's select one color. Okay, let's use this image here. Yes, this should work too. Okay, so I'll just quickly add my hue icon here and moving your slider around. Okay, I guess this is much more better. Moving your slider around, you are able to change the colors. Now you can see the effects of each color because the background originally was yellow. I can simply make this maybe a bit orange. And you can see the effect of the color of using your hue saturation to change colors in an image. Now let's use our master to pick a specific color. Let's say we'll pick the background. Let's make the background, make it green. Let's make it a bit orange. Orange. Yes. Increasing saturation here as you said, no saturation works. So we can just make it look, reducing it, it becomes faded as if she's on a gray wall. When you reduce the lightness of this, you can see the changes which you can make using color um, adjustment in Photoshop or white, simple white. I think I like this. For something a bit this, so that you can see the major difference in this using this in Photoshop. Now, simply toggle this off, and you have this particular image here. So when I toggle it on now, you can see the difference. You can see the difference. Can you guys see the difference? It just indicates. Can you see the difference? You see how using the hue and saturation helps you to manipulate colors in Photoshop. Okay, so that's something you can do to manipulate your colors. We're just going to increase saturation a bit, just a bit. Okay, so that's how you can use your hue and saturation to manipulate image colors in an image. Now let's go back to our car picture where we have. Let's try and apply this same principle which you just learned there. Doing it again, select, or you go to layers with this selected to your properties to bring out the other icon here. Now let's see the changes we can make with this picture here. Green, no. Blue, no. Okay. Let's use our master to pick. Let's say we pick the reds. Let's see what we can do with the reds. Simply increase. We can change the reds. You see, when I make these changes, there are more colors are being selected here. If you take a look about around the sun here, you'll see there are as I make my adjustments, it's being selected because of the color range of your colors. See, it's a little bit into purple and into yellow, which you know you have yellow here. So you can simply just reduce this color range so that you have more colors. See? Now let's make that little adjustment. Okay, okay, seems to be okay. Let's reduce this a bit. See, you see when I reduce this now, increasing it, you can see it's having more color range to change. So I simply reduce this now. Reduce it. Reduce this. Okay. And you can change the reds of the car. So you see, it takes a lot of time to get used to change the reds. Okay, now let's view this card on that color. Let's see. Okay, let's go for a little bit orangey. That looks nice. We'll reduce the saturation a bit. Reduce increasing saturation. Does that look okay? Let's reduce saturation a bit. Remember, we're going for the evening settings. So let's give this. Let's get rid of the reds, the red cars. So let's like reduce the darkness a bit. Now back to our layers. So let's group this together. Right click, group from layers. Just leave that as group one. Now you can see the difference when we toggle these off. This is our original image, which we had at first for our cars. You can see the brightness, the light and everything, but we made some tonal adjustments to this particular image now. Toggling this on, this was our first tonal adjustment, which we had. We're reducing the brightness to get this more evening scenery. Then we had some color adjustment now, toggling this on, changing the red cars to probably an orange looking car. So now you can see how tonal adjustment and color adjustment helps in photo manipulation in Photoshop. These are very, very essential when using Photoshop to adjust your image, because you can actually do photo manipulation. That's why in the beginning of this class, I asked you, is Photoshop cheating? And I got some good responses that it just helps to enhance and make things more easier. So if I was to say, oh, I needed all red, obviously I don't want a red car in this image now. I don't want to have any red car present here. I can actually use my Photoshop to get rid of the red color card in my image. So let's go back to our slide. I hope you guys are following. Mr. Tosin, you asked the giggle on off. I hope you are following, please. Thank you, Mr. Amos. Let's go back to our slide so that you guys can continue. Hope you guys can see my slides. Okay, so that brings us to the end of today's lecture. I hope you guys learned a lot and you guys understand a little bit about photo manipulation and tonal adjustment and color adjustment in Photoshop. So remember, okay. So remember, I gave you guys a little task to do. So, okay, yeah, today's lesson actually really needs serious study. And the best way to understand this adjustment is simply making this manipulations yourself. You can go and try these manipulations on various photos and or any picture of your choice which you want. And I want you guys to present the before and after image so that we can see how you guys made such adjustments to these pictures. So you can select any picture you want, any picture at all, and make um, a before and after image so that you can see how Photoshop helped you to manipulate the tonal structure of that image and the colors present in that image. So that brings us to today's class, the end of today's class. Please make those adjustments to the picture, and I'll get them to you. So thank you very much. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. So tomorrow we are going to be doing much more practicals tomorrow, and I'm going to introduce you into various good aspects of Photoshop when it comes to tomorrow's lecture. Okay, for making adjustments in faces, we will get there. We making adjustments in face to make people face. You see those pictures done by photographers that make their face looks very neat. We I will teach you guys how to make that adjustment. So we're just going to take it step by step. We'll get there and you'll see how these are done, how those photographers edit those pictures, so you can actually edit those pictures yourself. So we'll get that part of the lecture. So thank you very much for today's class, and I hope you guys have a nice day. You can drop your questions, and I will answer your questions for you as soon as I see them. Thank you. Okay, you guys can actually unmute your mic, and in case you have any questions that you want to ask, so that I can answer them for the remaining part of this lecture before the close. You can unmute your mic, please. Any questions?
Nope.
Maybe something you don't understand from the previous lecture, or for this lecture. Is there any question? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Please don't forget, you can always message me in case you have any questions. Or during your course of lecture, you don't understand anything. You can only send me a message and I'll attend to you as soon as possible. Okay, thank you all. You have a great evening. And please try as much as possible to just go through this class again and practice most of the things that have been taught. And share your before and after photo manipulation effects for the group. You can share it in the group so that we all can see and see what you guys came up with. And don't forget the card I want to ask you guys to redesign, but that will be submitted before Thursday next week with the assignments that will be given for tomorrow. So you guys are going to enjoy tomorrow's class because we are going more detailed into design. And I hope the class is fun for us all. You guys have a good evening.